Hello and welcome. This is Ruth and it's kit time again, as you can see, from Tonic Studios, and this is kit number 73 and it's called Jingle Bells and Baubles. So we're just going to have a quick look inside and then we'll start to make something as usual. When these kits arrive with me, I never know where to start because there's so many things you want to look at first, but usually a good place to start is with the colours, and then you get a really good feel for it, and then I usually go for the dies in here to see what we can make with them, and then all the rest of it after that. But anyway, there's a flyer in here and I'm just going to lift the papers and the card out. I've had a quick look at it there, and I just want you to see that it's really sparkly and glittery and all sorts of things. So we've got some golds and greens and reds, really lovely Christmas colours. But I really don't want to open all that out because it's so sparkly. Oh, I know that you're just going to see my face reflected back there, and that's not the best look when you're just wanting to see a kit. So I'm going to open this up and just read to you what's inside and the card that's in it. So in the classic card, which is this texture weave 216 GSM, you will get 2 chili red, 1 fern green, and then there's glitter card, and that is gold dust. And then in the mirror card, you'll get polished gold, ruby red, holly green, and chrome silver. Then after that, you're going to get a little 6x6 booklet. So that's this one here, and this one's called Gold Bullion. And you can see inside there, there's lots of lovely different textures, no, finishes of gold. So you've got satin effect, a mirror card, polished satin again, and oh, it's really lovely. So that is polished gold, gold pearl, harvest gold, and honey gold. So lots of different effects there that you can use along with this as well. And then we'll have a look at the dies before we go any further. Now, I know lots of you have been leaving me lovely comments and giving me thumbs up, and I've got all sorts of lovely encouragement from you lately about the kits and all sorts of things, and I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate everybody who buys through my affiliate links as well. So I'm really happy that lots of you have subscribed, but if you haven't subscribed and you're watching, maybe you'd think about doing that too. That really helps my channel along, and then it means that I can keep coming back and giving you lots more videos and all these things. So now let's just have a little look at the dies and the stamps. And there's instructions here too, that's always a good thing. Let's open that up. This little folder here then will fit into one of your binders that you get every 3 months with the kits, if you're a kit subscriber, or if you just happen to buy the kit at the time whenever that folder's in it. So it's creating a teardrop Christmas bauble here, and then on this side it says creating a Christmas bell. So there's 2 different types of thing there, and I think you can see that on here, this one, and then the lovely bell that's there. And of course you can scan the QR code here, and that takes you straight to what you're going to see, different things to do with that on the Tonic website as well. So let's just have a little look, because these dies look really lovely, but on those little instructions there, it tells you exactly how many pieces of everything that you need to cut out. So you can go ahead and do that, but all of the decorative ones then are, well, I think it's really nice. It's a better idea to go ahead and cut those out and lay them all on and glue them in place before you attach all of this together. And it just makes it that little bit easier, especially if you're going to be cutting the pattern into it and you want it cut out. You want to cut out all these pieces. Put those in first of all, because there's no way you'll be able to do anything like that afterwards. You could maybe put panels on afterwards, but you can't certainly cut into it after it's all assembled. So there's bits and pieces of the bell, and then obviously there's a lovely scrolly thing there as well, and hinge pieces, I think that's what that is, and then holly and berries and some other bits and pieces. And some of these, certainly there's a circle and this lovely shape, I'm not quite sure what you call it, but I can see right away that it fits in here and fits with these. So those could definitely be used on other things as well. And don't forget, obviously, I always mean to say this, I know I say it sometimes, but whenever you're looking at a kit and all the things that are in it, don't forget that you can use these dies again with different colours. The kit papers and cards are things that will run out whenever you've cut them out for a while, but go ahead and use them in different colours. Blues and silvers would be lovely with that, and all sorts of things, and that just extends this a bit. And obviously a Christmas one, you can come back and forwards lots of times with it throughout the year for different things as well, or just to build up your Christmas stash as you're working on it. Now that's a beautiful, feels like there's two cutting edges on that one, a beautiful hexagon there that could be used for all sorts of things as well. And let's just see. Yeah, well, I'm sure there's other ways we could use this too. So I'll have a little look at the stamps, wherever I put them. Here they are. So we've got Merry Christmas, joy, peace, love, from me to you, season's greetings, 'tis the season, Noel, and Jingle Bells. And I see joy here as well. So moving on to this then, it's always lovely to see what's inside. And I've removed all the packaging off this so that you can see it without me wasting any time taking it all apart. I really, really love that. That's glimmer paste. And you can spread that through a stencil, or you can really just take a spatula, and just got a spatula here. You can take that out and sort of dab it onto your card, and it gives a lovely effect, or you can smush it back and forwards. It's really, really lovely. And then this is the low tack die tape, and that is fantastic for using if you're sticking a die onto, say, mirror card or something like that, because it's very, very lightweight and it doesn't mark whenever you put it through your machine and use the cutting plates. Now you can also buy one of these little, I'm not actually sure the name of it, but it's a little gadget for putting your tape into. Dispenser, that's the word, dispenser, for these as well, but they're actually very easy to use just as they are. And then we've got some Craft Perfect high tack tape, and this is double-sided red line tape, and it's 3mm, and that's really, really fine. You can see there just how fine that is, and it's 5 meters long, so that's lots and lots on there. Chili red ribbon, and that's 5 meters again by 3mm. And then this one is White Blizzard glitter drops. They're a real favourite coming to Christmas time because you can add them across sort of white and it makes it look like snow. And then we've got these dual dot markers, and you can see they're dual dot because they're broader at one end and narrower at the other, and you can do really fine detail like script or calligraphy with this, and then patterns or dots with the top edge there. And these are beautiful colours, and the 3 of them are metallic. Right, let's just get on to cutting some stuff out, and I'll be right back. I should have checked this first of all, but I have just gone back to double check, and I noticed here that you will either get the 3mm or the 9mm in this chili red ribbon, so you may not get exactly the same as mine. It will be, could be a 9mm one, which is equally good, and it's absolutely beautiful for making bows as well. Thank you. I've gone ahead and cut out lots of these different pieces that were on the little instruction list there, and first of all I needed to cut out 12 of these because I'm making the sort of bell-shaped one first of all, and it says to cut out 12 of these, and that, you'll notice that is the one with the little flat top up here, and then this one is the one that fits inside that, so that would be the decorative detail. So I've cut out 12 of these in chili red, and then I've cut out 12 of these in the gold glitter card, and I just want to assemble those, so I've also cut 2 of these little pieces out as well. So first of all, I wanted to give these just a slight little shape because they are going to be bell shaped, and it just helps them on their way when you get to the next stage. So just like that, and then on the same thing with this one here, so it's just like that, and then we can go ahead. Now you can see that the little semicircular tabs, they are the glue tabs, and the ones in between, these little rectangular ones, are actually just little pieces that cover up the gaps in between. So you won't be putting glue on those, you just put glue on the semicircular ones, and then we can go ahead and fold all these glue tabs in. Now you will need to burnish those to give them a really good finish at the end, so just fold them all over and burnish them with your little sliding sort of precision tool, gliding tool, whatever, bone folder, and there you have it. There's your little shape, and you can go ahead then and glue this one directly on top. Just like that. Now there are decorative panels as well, as I showed you earlier on, so you could add some of those instead, but I thought that gold glitter would look really, really lovely for my first one anyway. So once you've got those done, you can go ahead with the other 5. You've made 6 of them up together, and then one of these little shapes here. And what we need to do now then is put glue just on these little tabs here up at the top first of all, and add each one of those onto the underside of the little hexagon, and that would go just like that, And then when you're actually sort of gluing that together and holding it, just make sure you check that it's right at the edge there, so that you can see there are going to be no pieces in the wrong place whenever the glue dries there. And you can go ahead with the other 5 of these and add them the whole way around here. Whenever that glue has grabbed, it really only takes a second or two, but when that has grabbed, then you can go ahead and put some glue on these semicircular tabs here, and you'll be able to fold these over, and that holds this all in place. So I think the most important part at this stage is just to remember to have the glue right out to the edge there, and you'll not want any to come out sort of splodging out in between, but if you do happen to, you can just wipe it off at this stage. But if you hold that bottom one in place there, you could even put a little peg on there if you really wanted, but you know there's only 3 tabs on it, so it doesn't take a long time to dry. You'll just put that on there, then you can work your way up because you can feel in the back of them there, and then do the same thing here. If that pops off, just hold it back again, because it really only will take a minute or two to hold that in place. And once that's done, all you need to do is go ahead and put glue on the next 3 tabs the whole way around until you have this finished. And then I'll show you one that I have made as well, because this is the second one and you will need to make 2 of these. So go ahead and do that, and have 2 of them ready. Now you want to take the hexagon die. So the very first one of these, there are actually 4 of them. You'll take this die cut and turn one of these over, and then just go ahead and glue each of these tabs onto the top. So this is actually going in below the glue tabs, and then you'll glue them the whole way around there. So you can just put glue on here, just like that, and attach that on there. And then just work your way around by adding one glue tab after another the whole way around here, and then that forms the top of the bell. But just give it a little second in between each just to make sure that's grabbed before you go ahead, and then check that each of them is lining up there. That's nice and sturdy now, because that holds that really firmly, and that's the bell top ready. So now for the bottom part of it, you'll need to cut out 6 of these, and that's the little panel here. I'll show you it on the die sheet. So that's this outer one here, and then on the inner one I've cut that with the gold glitter card as well. So I've got 6 of those. They're all flat here at the moment, but I am just going to do exactly the same thing as I did for the top piece here. I'm going to just give it a little shape with a bone folder, do the same thing with this one. Then I'm going to reinforce every one of these score lines, just fold them over first of all, and then I'll do them all with this little bone folder just to make sure they're nice and crisp. And then when I get that done, I'm going to glue the tops of these onto one of these hexagons here. You can do exactly the same thing as you did for these parts here. You can go ahead and just add glue on little semicircles and attach each side, and you'll just do one at a time, take your time and hold those into position. It's very easy, just like so, just takes a second or two. And if any glue comes out at that point, just wipe it off, and that won't leave any mark then at the end. Hold the bottom one, and then once that's grabbed, you can go ahead and catch the other 2 from in behind. And then you'll see down here there's a little glue tab, and you can either go ahead now and do that, glue that together, or you can wait until you have all of these areas here done the whole way around, and then come back and do those ones, just whichever tickles your fancy. I'm just going to do it now. This next part isn't actually part of the kit at all, but I had a couple of these little bells and I thought it might be nice to have them jingling in there. So I've threaded them onto some of the ribbon, as you can see, and I made a little hole with my pokey tool in there. And now I'm just going to glue this bit down and then add a little hexagon over the top. So I cut an extra one of these off and I'm going to glue these in place with that. Go ahead with this piece, because this is actually the base of the little bell, or the big bell. It's actually quite big, and I'm going to glue that directly in here. So you could either put the glue on these tabs or put it in here. I think it's just easier to go ahead with it there. Whenever I added this piece in, then I went ahead and lined the inside, so you could see why I didn't actually even bother covering the glue that was left there originally, because I knew I was going to line that. And obviously you could do that at the beginning before you add it in here, or you can just wait until the end, because it's actually quite easy just to curve those, glue them and pop them in there. And when you open up that bell, that looks really, really lovely and bright inside as well. Now you've got to add a little closure onto this, so there's a little die which cuts this hinge part here, and you can pick apart, and I've actually started already, so just glue one edge of this hinge after you've folded it right on there, and then the other piece will get glued onto a corresponding part on your lid. And I'll just turn it around here, and then you'll see how this just then would flip open and closed, so it will come on here, and then that will open and close from there. And then I'm going to hold on to that just for a minute or two, but directly opposite that, then you'll want to put a little closure in. So we're going to put a little magnetic closure, and I've already popped a magnet in there, and that means that whenever you come to add this part on, the hinge then will be on one part of it attached here, and then when you lift this up, you'll need to put a little magnet in here. So I've got one on there, and then the other one will go just in behind here. We don't see it on the opposite side. I kind of fiddled about trying to get the magnets in below there. It really would have been much easier just to pop them on top, but I didn't want this to be sort of like a thick opening there. But you can do whichever you can manage, but either way, when you come to this part, then you can cut a little closure. So either this one or some of the other ones, there's a couple of different ones there, and then you can go ahead and put these two extra hexagons directly on top of that. I've got another one here that, because at the start then I had cut out 4. Well, that will cover these 2 areas, but it would also cover the little magnet if you do want it up on the top as well, and I definitely think that would be a lot easier. The other thing is I've used lots and lots of gold glitter card here now, and that's actually more than the one sheet that was in there, so I haven't gone ahead and put it in here, but you could actually just use some of the paper, some of the card from the little 6x6 pack that you get in this kit to go in there instead of the glitter card, and you could mirror it in there. Mirror, do you like that? In there as well, just have the same thing in, or you could even put maybe a mirror card or a satin card or something in there and have this one on here. But now you can see that this closes like so, and you can add some ribbon on here on that little closure, and you've got a lovely little bell. Now you may also notice that right around the edge here, I just thought that that was a little bit unstable with all of the decorative panels on here making this thicker, and it was just a single 216 GSM card there. So I took this little die, I'll just show you it here, the one that I actually used for that side, and I recut just this area, so it's really just the bottom. I put that over a piece of card and then cut it off, and I nicked it just inside those 2 lines there and made it ever so slightly smaller here and glued that on, and that definitely makes that quite a bit sturdier. So you may like to do that as well. Now I'm just going to go ahead and glue right on top of here and here. Now that we've got the basic sort of bell shape made, we need to make a little part for the top of it to hang it with. So you'll see this die, and you can cut that out twice, and I've cut it out twice in gold mirror card, but actually on reflection you don't even need to do that. You could cut one of them out in mirror card and then cut the other one out in plain card, because mirror card just takes a little bit longer to dry, you know, for the glue to dry on it, and it's a wee bit fiddly. but it does look really nice as the little hanger for this. So anyway, the inside one you can definitely cut out in Craft Perfect card, the ordinary texture weave. And then this is the hanger. Now this is actually the piece that I used for here because I just liked it there, but there were other closures for that. But this is actually the little hanger for the top. So I've cut out this twice and this twice. And then on one of these, I've gone ahead and burnished all these little score lines. And you can see here, this is a little slit. And I'm just going to open that a little bit more with my pokey tool. And then I'll take these two pieces and I'm just going to glue the top of that. So just along there. And there, and then I can just make sure that those are all leveled up and sitting really, I was going to say square, but square's not the word, but anyway, there you are. And you can then pop this part that's not glued together down in through there. Now you can just open that up just the way you would do a split pin, and then you can pop glue in behind that, there and there, and hold those back onto the inside of this. And again, just because that's mirror card, it will take us a minute or two to hold the glue together. So if you just hold that or set it aside for a moment or two, then you can go ahead and all of these little pointy tabs, then just the pointy ones, you can go ahead and glue onto the back of each of these little square ones on the way around. And again, because they are slippery a little bit, I just pop a little bit of a little peg on to hold them, and you can work your way on around and hold that one in the meantime. Now that's what I've already done with this one, and when I finish this, I'm going to push this one up inside, and then that will give me a base to glue onto the top here, and the little hanger will be on top of that. Now I want to make a little tag for putting at the top of it. So I've taken this die and I've cut it out in green mirror card here, and then this little swirly die, and I've glued that directly on top, as you can see, and that little top swirl just goes right over the hole in the top of that one. And then for this one, I've taken this die again in gold card. That's the background one, and then I've used this one and this together in red, and I've glued that on top. And then I've taken the little holly leaves and glued that on top. Now I actually want to add just a little bit of glue in behind, just to make sure they don't slide about, and that will go like that. And then I'll put some in there as well. And then I've added just a little bit of ribbon, and that holds that all together nicely. And there it is, and that's going to hang from the top there. But actually what I want to do is put it on somewhere about there and put another little bow up at the top there. So I've attached this little label now, and then I went ahead with one of the stamps out of the set and the big circle die from the die set as well, and I cut that out. There it is there. And then I cut the holly leaves and the berries, and then the little veins for the leaves, I've added them on here, but I've also used them as little fronds on there as well. And then these are some dots that I made with the dual dot marker from the kit as well, and I have hung that up there. I think that looks really, really lovely. Now obviously you won't necessarily need to have this little closure. I've put a bit of ribbon on it, but you won't necessarily need to have that along with the magnetic closure, but I've put both on just to let you see. And that's the bell number 1 finished, and I'm going to go on to make the other little teardrop bauble now as well. For the second bauble then, I've chosen some red card, and then I decided to put this sort of shiny green card on top of that. Now I could have used the decorative die just to cut that straight into the panels, and then you would be able to see something right through it. You could put even some card in behind it, or you could leave it open and put a little tea light or something in. But I've decided to go ahead with red this time, and then I have used obviously the same dies, the one with the little flat piece at the top and the little hexagon to put it together, just the way I did for the base of the bell. And I have cut this one along with this one in the green mirror card here and attached those sides all on. So I'm just going to do exactly the same thing the whole way around here as I've done with the base of the bell, and I've glued these together, and I just need to glue this together and then set this one aside for a minute or two, and I'll do the top. That actually is the top, because that's the piece that's going to have the little hanger part on the top of it. So I'm going to set that aside with the little peg, just holding that in place. And then you'll see this time that I've used the other little dies, and they're pointy, so it's quite different. It hasn't got the flat piece at the top. And then all of the dies that go inside that for the decorative detail, and all of those will have that pointy area on them as well. And this time, obviously, you don't add them to a little hexagon. You'll see that the glue tabs are slightly different, and you just glue all of those and bring them right into a point at the center there. And I did that last night, and now I'm just coming back because I didn't get it finished, and I'm going to add this one right in here. So it's really just gluing that together in the same way as we've done the top one, and molding it and folding it. And then as I was doing that, obviously you can see here that you could make a 4-sided, you could probably make a 3-sided one as well, just thinking, but definitely you could make 4-sided top and bottom to that and have a little bauble. You could even go ahead with the 5-sided one, and you could add the top the same as you've done on the bottom there. This is the bottom. You could do the top exactly the same, and instead of leaving this little flat area, you could thread some twine or ribbon up through that, and put some holly and whatnot around that to disguise that. And you could have a smaller one as well. Just because we don't have the little hexagon doesn't mean that you're going to be limited with that. You definitely can make different sizes of it as well, and that would definitely give you some more scope for different little baubles. But I'll go ahead now and add these pieces together and finish this little 6-sided one. Now I need to go ahead and add this hexagon piece on again, and I'm going to need to do that on both of these. And obviously then I'm going to be putting the little magnet in. I'm going to use the magnet instead of the other little closure this time. I don't think I need both, but I've got a magnet here. And before I go ahead and do this, I'm just going to do it slightly differently. I've got the little glue piece on, the double-sided glue. It's going to stick to my tweezers, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pop that on right there this time, and I think this will make it an awful lot easier. Instead of trying to get it in below, put this on, do whatever, and at the end, now I'm just going to go ahead and glue this on the whole way right around here. And then I'm going to do the same with this one once I get the hinge on. Obviously the hinge will be on the opposite side here, and then I'll put the magnet facing this one and put the two together and put this right on top the same way as I'm doing this, and that'll be a lot easier to maneuver and trying to get the magnet in below or whatever than the way I did it the last time. I've got that all glued together now, and obviously that would be really lovely with something inside there, so I might go ahead and do that, but I love the way that closes, and I'm not putting a little catch in that one, as I said. And obviously on this part here I could even add that hexagonal frame on there and cover that too, and that would be really nice. I'm not so sure that I like it showing through here though, so I'm not too sure, but anyhow, at the end of the video you'll see if I've just left that or if I've gone ahead and added something else. But I made a little tag this time for this one, and I have put 3 holly leaves on. I just nipped one off the other pair and added it on, and put the little centers in, added a little bit of ribbon, and I always put a little bit of glue in behind there just to sort of hold that so that it doesn't come loose, and then I will just glue that in there. But I'm actually thinking I think I need to do that with my hot glue gun, so I'll wait till that's on. And but isn't that lovely? Isn't that really beautiful? I've got the bell and I've got the bauble, and I just thought I would like to make something else, and I know you like this, at least I hope you do. Let me know in the comments down below again actually if you do, and if you expect to see something else now. So I've got the little base, and I'm thinking as I go through that, wouldn't that actually make a lovely egg if I had 2 of those the same, like one of those Easter eggs that we had a while back, a kind of Fabergé egg, but Tonic had a bigger one, and although it's not totally egg shaped, I think that still would be really nice to have this top and bottom, and that gives you a smaller option to use like the one we had before. So I have gone ahead and I have, as you can see here, isn't that really lovely? I actually thought that would make a lovely kind of umbrella or a parasol kind of thing. It would also make, if it was all red with white dots on it, might make a kind of a mushroom with a wee stand down below it. So there's loads and loads of ideas, but to actually make it into something that you're going to get use from, which is what I always try to do, I've made this base. I've put the hinge on in below this area here. So I've glued all those pieces to a red hexagon frame, and then put this in below and put a little tab here that I'm going to close it with. I've lined all the inside with the glitter card and it looks really, really beautiful. But this time I wanted it just to sit. So it's on the base. Again, this is the part that would normally be the top where you would put the little hanger on. But this time I'm using this as the base so that it sits flat like that. To make a little lid then for this, I have cut out a little hexagon frame. I've laid it on top of some satin card, and then I've cut really closely right around the outside so that I've got an outside hexagon shape. Now there's not a die to do that, because when you use the outside hexagon one, it cuts the center out. So I have cut that out, as I say, just by hand, very, very neatly. And then I've got myself what I'm looking at as the lid here. So I want that to look like this when it's opened. I think it's really beautiful. I actually think that would be really, really lovely in mirror card, but I don't think it's going to look so good on mirror card for me here, because it'll be very, very hard to photograph. But bear that in mind, it would be lovely, because this is going to be a really lovely little gift box or something, and that will sit up like that when it's opened. But at this stage, what I want to do is put this down like so, and then I've cut myself out a gold frame, which I'm going to add on top of that. In between the gold frame, I'll set this over, so in between the gold frame and this part, I'm going to glue this little piece, and that will match up with this, and then I can tie it together, and then you'll not see any of that white, because once I get that done, I'm going to put this red hexagon. So you'll see whenever you cut the frame out, you always get the inside, and obviously you can use that for lots of things, but I'm going to pop it back in here, and then I will attach that onto here, and that will be my little lid, and I can decorate the top. I really love the way that has turned out. I've added a little bow on there, and you can open it up like that, but up in the top here I've decorated it with the joy, and I've just turned that up a little bit just to give a little bit of dimension. 3 little holly leaves, and then the little swirls in the silver mirror card, and then you can open this up, and that would make a lovely little gift box for some jewellery or something. And as I said before, even the silver mirror card would be beautiful in there, and you can see there that that's all lined, and just another little way of using it. Now I think I will make a card next. So I've got an A6 card, I've got some silver mirror card, and I'm not, I actually have to stop because I've got so many ideas with this. I'll actually just show you one here. I was going to do this, and then I feel like I really need to stop, but this reminded me of a little Christmas angel, and you could put little wings on and just a little round head, and that could be a little, no, I need to stop. Okay, we're back to this, and I've got the satin card, and I'm just going to brush some of this glimmer paste across it and let that dry, and then I will back that onto some silver, and then I'm going to add some bits and pieces onto that. And again, I'm going to use some of these little die cuts, but this just gives a really, really lovely textured finish whenever it's dried. So I'm just going to do that. It's totally different from the glitter card, as you can see. I've gone ahead then, after that dried, I actually helped it on its way with a heat gun, and I put the hexagons on here. So I have 2 red ones and the gold glitter one, and they came out of the little frames that I cut out with the die there. And then this is the one of the panels for the side, like the one I showed you a minute or two ago, except it's upside down. And what I want to do now is actually just make myself a little poinsettia to go in here with the holly leaves. So I've cut a bunch of them out here in red, and I've also cut some out in red mirror card as well. And I've got a little circle because I want to just sort of glue the tips of them onto this circle and make a little flower from that. And I've just nipped them off, as I said, but I've got a couple here that I'll just show you exactly what I've done. So easy, just like so and like so, and then you've got 2 petals. And on the plain ones here, the Craft Perfect texture weave card, I have folded them up in the center as well. So I'll just go ahead and make myself a little flower, and then I'm going to use the green leaves to go around it here as well. That's the card all finished now, and I've got the poinsettia on, and then I stamped out the little Merry Christmas and cut it out with the die that I made the little label from before. But you can see there where I have just hooked the little swirl in through that, and I thought that looked rather nice to finish it off. And then I've popped it up on some 3D foam pads there, and I've added these little fronds, which were really the pieces that you add on top of the leaves, but I've just added them there as sort of extra foliage with behind what is now, well, what I think is now my big poinsettia. And I'm rather pleased with the way that card has turned out, so you can let me know if you like that as well. Now that's me done, I'm all finished. There's the bell, and I'll just show you all of this together before I wind up all together. So there's the bell, and we've got the 2 closures on that. That looks rather lovely inside as well. And then we've got the jingle bells and the everything on here, and I've put some little holly berries and stuff on there as well. And then this one is the sort of the bauble that has the pointed end on it, and that is really, really gorgeous. I love that. Now you can see on the inside here, I've put the magnetic closure in this one without the little tying piece as well, and you'll be able to see on the inside here what I did was I took the glitter frame here and then the piece from the outside, and I had an extra one as well, and I just put some glue around the outside edges of that and pressed it down in, so it gives a sort of flatter area there for whatever you're putting inside. And there you are, that's that one with this little piece on the top. And then this one, and I actually really, really love this one because I think it looks really nice when it's just sitting flat like that, and the front of it and everything's beautiful, but I think it's really, really beautiful when you open it up, and it makes a lovely little box just the way it sits up like that. So thank you very, very much for watching along with all of that. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do let me know down below. My affiliate links for everything I've used will be down below in the comments as well, and I do appreciate everybody who uses those because, as you know, I get a little commission, but it's no extra cost to you at all in that. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do that. I really would love you to do that, and hit the notification bell and keep up to date with all of these, and share it if you can. Anything you want that you can do that would promote my channel would be very, very helpful and very much appreciated. Thanks again, and until next time, happy crafting. Bye bye.